Darsul Qur'an 121 English, Part 26, Sura Fatha, Victory. Today, Friday, 17th January 2025. Verses discussed 18 to 29, the end. Delivered by Professor Muhammad Abu Sadek. My brothers and sisters, women abroad, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillahi wa salamun ala ibadihi allazina istafa. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. In 18 to 20 verses, it is discussed that Allah declared his satisfaction on the Sahaba radiyallahu ajmain who took oath on the hand of Prophet ﷺ under the tree to fight up to death for the rescue of Usman radiyallahu anhu. Because Allah is the knower of what is in one's mind, as Allah confirmed on the sincerity of their affection, obedience and devotion to Allah and His Prophet ﷺ. He pardoned He proclaimed His satisfaction on them. So it is mentioned in various parts of Al-Quran that Allah was satisfied on them and they are satisfied on Him. So Allah infused sakina or tranquility of their minds so that they could be steadfast in risky situation and could take part in the oath of life risk. That is why they could be able to return to Medina triumphant by the mercy of Allah without any war. So that oath is called the Bayat-e-Ridwan or the oath of Allah's satisfaction, in which it was insinuated about the victory of Kaaba and the victory of Khaybar and the huge amount of spoils of war from it, in which the related Sahaba radiyallahu ajmain were the rightful payee. By the insinuation about the continuous victory would be attainable after the victory of Khaybar was also given here. With this, Allah called the agreement of Hudaybiyah as the manifest victory, as Allah removed the courage of war against Muslims from Quraysh, though they were more powerful and to attack on the unprotected Medina. That event would be the instance for the believers, means Allah offered them such unusual victory for their steadfastness on obedience over Allah and Prophet ﷺ during the signing of the agreement of Hudaybiyah. By the by, such instance will be applicable for the future strivers in the way of Allah in risky situation. In 21 to 26 verses, it was probably insinuated about the victory of Makkah by the proclaiming about the spoils of war which was not still attained by Muslims but which was surrounded by Allah, means as the consequence of the Hudaybiyah Sulhs, the victory of Makkah would be attained by Muslims. If the Quraysh would entangled in war with the Muslims, then they surely be defeated, and the victory of Makkah was attained by Muslims. Allah proclaimed in this surah because Allah help and favor was with the Muslims. But for a special benefit, Allah did not like to occur a war in that situation that is proclaimed in the next verses. Here Allah's permanent rule or sunnah means when the disbelievers entangle in war with Allah and His professors, He maketh them humiliated and help His prophets. But due to their racial pride and rashness, Quraysh disbelievers resisted Muslims from Umrah. So it was right to punish them, but who is the benefit? Benefit Allah caused the war, Allah seized the war, was that there were many Muslims who hide their belief due to the threat of the disbelievers, whom are unknown to Sahaba radiyallahu ajmain came for Umrah. Then if the war would be occurred, then Muslims would smash them ignorantly, for which they might be stained. The disbelievers of Makkah did not allow Prophet ﷺ and his associates to perform Umrah out of their racial pride and rashness, distorting the ancient rule of free access for all tribes of all religion to perform Umrah and pilgrimage in Kaaba. So there would be an attempt to occur the serious conflict between two parties or war, but which Allah revealed Sakina or tranquility of mind of Muslims did not entangle in such conflict. Probably Allah did not want to conquer the city of Makkah by the bloodshed. As a result, finally the Muslims conquered it without blood by the grace of Allah in 628 Hijri. In this regard, some scholars of Islamic thought find out some decisions in risky position about the unknown Muslims victims as were in Makkah during the Hudaybiyah agreement, as if their enemy maketh Muslims as man shield in any war or are in a warship, then it will be permissible for Muslims army to fire or not. In the gravity of the situation, if it may be allowed, if there be greater interest of Muslims. In the verses 27 to 29, it is said that Allah confirmed the dream of offering Umrah of Prophet ﷺ with his associates was true. But when they compelled to return to Medina without performing the Umrah, some of Sahaba radiallahu ajmain raised question why it was. The answer of it is given here. So Prophet ﷺ explained it as it was not mandatory to perform Umrah in the very 6th Hijri. Shown in the dream, but we would perform for it as Umratul Qaza in 7th Hijri. So the dream was true. Here Allah useth inshallah for performance of his own oath, that is the performance of or non-performance of Umrah was solely depend on Allah's will. It was not depend on the obstruction or will of the disbelievers. So, by Allah's will, Muslims could enter Kaabas safely and peacefully and perform Umrah peacefully and avoiding any conflict. It was solely Allah's will. Even Muslims to an instant victory, that is the Hudaybiyah agreement, by which they were identified as separate nation and followers of separate religion. It was known to Allah, none else. So Muslims were able to perform Umrah and shave out their head or cut their hair next year peacefully. By shaving head is better than cutting hairs, as shaving head is mentioned first here. Then it is revealed that Prophet ﷺ was sent with guide Al-Qur'an and then with true religion Islam to make it triumphant. triumphant over all other fake religion of the world. In this regard, we see by the will of Allah is sufficient. There was a background. During the signing of Hudaybiyah agreement, disbelievers opposed to write Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as Prophet of Allah with the name of Prophet of Allah. So Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam cut out that portion. So Allah requited it here. That is, if anybody do not accept the prophethood of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in his life, it will not hamper the dignity of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in any way. By the way, Hazrat Umar radiallahu anhu asked Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam whether he is true prophet or not, due to the second condition of the Hudaybiyah agreement, that is, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was bound to return back the person flee to him from Mecca, but Quraysh would not bound to return any person back from who flee to them from Medina. Here it was requited by Allah. So Umar radiallahu anhu seek pardon from Allah up to his death for his fault by offering optional prayer and alms giving. Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was not sent for only to preach Islam, but to establish Islamic role in personal, social and state life, for which a sovereign state is necessary. So he prayed to Allah for a state power on the eve of the migration to Medina. It is mentioned in the verse number 80 of Surah Bani Israel as Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Akur Rabbi adhilni mudakhala sidikum wa akhrijni mukhraja sidikum wa ja'alni min ladunka sultanan nasira. Say, O Allah, enter me with honor and evacuate from anywhere, evacuate honorably, and give me a state power. When he reached Medina, he established an ideal state on the basis of 14 items. That state was a democratic one of multinational like Muslims, Jews, Christians and the disbelievers. The 14 item on which the basis that state was established, called the first written constitution of the world history. We think there is no written constitution still in UK. It is important to note that The establishment of Islam does not mean to crush disbelievers but to establish rule of Tawheed by crushing the rule of disbelievers, disbelief, shirk and nifaq. But in 56 sovereign Muslim countries having no Islamic rule, rather all these states ruled by the rules and regulations of disbelievers, because most of the fake Muslims given more preference to Taghut than Tawheed. So Allah declared in this surah that such type of Mimi believers shall be treated as disbelievers and thrown to hell with general disbelievers in hereafter. Here it is said that the associate of Prophet ﷺ were very hard to disbelievers, means they were not rude, hard or misbehaved to them, but they were very stern and they were very gentle and well behaved with them. That is, they were uncompromisable to principles of Islam, or they were not be derailed from Islam by any greed or threat of disbelievers. They did not fear anybody except Allah, and they always trust in Allah. On the other hand, they were very much sympathetic among themselves, means they were very loyal to Islam and they were very cooperative on the struggle of establishment of Islam and a stance regarding it. Moreover, the speciality of Sahaba radiallahu ajmain are mentioned here, as they were always busy with the ruku and sajda, that is, engaged in prayer, and moreover they were busy to gain Allah's bounty and His countenance, as Allah proclaimed in various parts in verses 74 of Sura Tawbah, as the satisfaction of Allah is over all affairs, and it is the supreme triumph, as Allah proclaimed, وَرِضْوَانٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ أَكْبَرُ ذَلِكَ هُوَ الْفَوْزُ الْعَظِيمُ. There were another quality of them, that there were mark of prostration on their forehead. That is, though there was no black mark on the forehead, there were a glaze of prostration on their forehead. But there were no such brightness on the face of the culprits or the proud persons. By the by, those who are practicing prayer from the boyhood regularly, then no black mark will engrave it on their forehead. But if anybody will start regular practicing prayer after 25 years of age, then easily black mark engraved on their forehead. It may be due to new cell creation stopped after 25 years of age. The excellence of Sahaba radiallahu ajmain and the associates of prophets and the coming sincere believers up to doomsday is expressed in the end of this surah as it is like a seed of a sweet fruit having big tree. When the seed is sown in soil, then at first shoot out as sprout, and it will stand on a strong stalk and become pleasing of eye with flowers and fruits to the related farmers, and heart burning for the foe of the tree, that is the disbelievers. By this example, Allah explained the evolution of Islamic movement. As for example, the seed means the initial call to accept Islam, which is generally opposed by the opportunists to try to stop the preaching of by force or by tyranny, by the steadfastness of the preaching, the sincere strivers can advance the movement and ultimately able to establish the expected Islamic state. In that state, the peace, justice and security, etc., prevailing for all. There is no tyranny or indecency. The citizens get their right before their claim. There will be flow of His bounty and blessings on it as He satisfied over related strivers in the way of Allah. It is so big and extended that its roots are firmly strung to the deep of the soil, and its branches spread out to the space with fruit and flowers. Throughout the year, it is said to say that we have the latest and final divine scripture, Al-Qur'an, intact, and Sunnah of the latest and greatest Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in authentic manner, and they are teaching by learned scholars in thousands of madrasas throughout the Muslim states, but still there is no attempt to execute Islamic rule in any state. It is like to preserve the seed but no harvesting. It is an unpardonable crime in the sight of Allah. Finally, Allah confirmed that those who strive to establish Islam in society with faith and good deeds, there shall be pardoned and will give them the greatest reward in hereafter. That is the paradise of everlasting youth and spring. But some fake mullahs in all Muslim states are showing risk-free way to gain the paradise, which is quite contrary shown by Sahaba radiallahu ajmain. It is quite absurd. Finally, I asked all people of the world to accept Islam, the only chosen religion of Allah. Ameen, summa ameen.